All right, everybody. I think it's day 9. Love vibration. Good morning, my friend. It's like 11 o'clock. Supposed to be my day off, but I'm going to work right now, which is sick because that means extra shift, which means some overtime. And that makes me really happy because, abundance. I'm attracting that money. So I've been thinking something that's been popping up in my head after, just been doing what I'm doing lately with the daily affirmations and the, just trying to become a better version of myself that's, happier, friendlier, I feel like my purpose for existing is to be an example of someone who is just completely, utterly themselves. And what that means to me is I'm a weirdo, like in the best way possible. I've always... So, all right, back in the day, I was born in the 80s, all right? I was born in 82. I used to watch Muppet Babies in the morning, and if you're a Muppet fan, you all know where I'm going with this. Gonzo was my favorite, always. And, Kermit's a frog, and Miss Piggy, she's a pig, Ralph's a dog, but Gonzo is a weirdo. Like, literally, that's what he is. Like, that's what animal he is. He's the animal weirdo. Not to be confused with Animal, the drummer Animal. But, Gonzo. I always loved Gonzo because he was the oddball. And everyone else, kind of fit some sort of stereotype in a way. Like, they were, they had a thing going on, but it was in the realms of normal. Gonzo was just like all over the place. It was like, what, you can't categorize that guy. He's too unique. And that's what I always resonated with. I was like, yo, that's like me. I was like, I'm unique like that, I love that. And so, that's as a kid, growing up. And I soon found out, pretty much after the age of 8 or 9, when we moved to Connecticut, and I was a new kid in school, and I found out people didn't like different, because I started getting picked on for, any differences I had, whether it be my name. So my actual full name is Brian Go. That's my name. My last name is just G-O. And, so, it's a interesting last name. So, a lot of stupid go jokes, not even good ones, just like, hi, Brian, go. And I'm like, come on, really? But anyways, there's that. Looks wise, I went to school with primarily white people. And, in a group of all white people, I do look slightly different. I am half Asian. And, I'm just different. I'm small. I'm pretty small, too. I'm a small guy, 5'10". I'm like 140 pounds right now. Super lean. But, so I got picked on that. And my personality, I was a very sweet, quiet kid. Masculinity was definitely not beaten into me at home, because my dad's, kind of a sweet, quiet guy. So, my male examples were not like overly masculine. Like my one grandpa kind of was, maybe. But anyways, I get to school as a new kid at the age of 8, and I don't know, these kids, they were pretty programmed. This is my first taste of crazy, toxic, masculine stuff. I'll call it toxic. I don't know, because it seems toxic to me to pick on anyone who doesn't fit that stereotype, someone who hasn't been brainwashed, basically, a free person. Basically my whole life, wanting to be myself, yet feeling like if I am myself, people won't like that, and I cared about that. I don't care anymore. But now, after doing what I've been doing, you know, all the lovely things I tell myself every morning with the affirmations, I am feeling so free to just be me, and whatever me is becoming very clear. Like, it's always been pretty clear, but there's been times where I'm like, you know, even if I'm just shopping for something, it's like, do I like this? Do I really like this? I kind of like it. I don't know. Do I like, you know, questioning if I like something or not, which it should be obvious. And it's becoming more obvious. Like, if I see something that's just me, I'm like, yo, that is so me. Like, like at work, you know, I'm passing by all the loofah sponges, and there was one bright lime green one, and I was like, yo, that is so me, and I just picked that thing up. Like, little things like that, but it makes me me. You know, I'm attracted to stuff like that, and I don't care. I like, I know I thought that I didn't care what people thought. You know, I thought, I said, I don't care what people think about me. But in all actuality, I did care. To some extent. You know, it got better over time. But, you know, I did want to be looked at as a certain way. You know, I did care how people viewed me, straight up. Like, I thought I didn't, but I actually did. But now, you know, I feel like I'm probably, I haven't arrived anywhere, but I'm noticing that I'm getting better with that. Like, I really feel free lately to just be. Because I tell myself, one of my affirmations, it is totally okay and safe to just be happy. That's an important one for me because, you know, I never felt safe to just be me. I felt like, oh, you know, someone's going to look at me if I'm like, they're going to be like, what are you so happy about? You know what I mean? I no longer have been caring, you know. I feel free and safe to just be the happy version of myself without caring. Like, if people are grumpy at work, I'm not going to let that bring me down. I'm going to stay up. I'm just going to be how I want to be, regardless of the situation, basically. Now, of course, you know, if someone's talking about me about something sad that happened to them, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, that's okay. You know, I still have empathy, and I'm not a psycho. But, like, overall, like, I'm trying to be, you know, trying to have my inner dialogue, my narration of my life be a positive one and a happy one, instead of a negative one like it's been for so long. You know, I'm turning those words around on the regular, and it's just making me feel free. Like, I feel, you know, basically, I feel like that child that we all were before we were totally programmed, I feel like that's really us, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm connecting with the adult version of my inner child. Like, still that inner child I always was, only now with a bit of wisdom and knowledge, like a little bit. Yeah, I feel freaking phenomenal. Even though, look how tired, like, I could barely open my eyes today. Like, my sleep has been trash, to be honest. But, you know, when I do my affirmations, you know, I tell myself, know what, you're full of energy. You have more than enough energy to get through the day and whatever you need. You know, I just pump myself up every single morning, and you know, I haven't had a bad day since. It's like incredible. You know, I've had, you know, a few trials here and there, but no, in no way, shape, form, or fashion can I say, wow, that was a bad day because this happened. If anything, the days where, you know, I might have stumbled a little bit, that is how I learn. That's how I know if I've learned or not, you know, the tests. So no, nothing bad at all. Like I'm really reprogramming. The reprogramming is working, and I'm becoming this, you know, better version that I really wanted to be, that I've been in the past but never held on to. I always let life tear me down, let my energy sink. But I mean, for me, these affirmations that I do every morning have been, the best thing for me, because it's consistency. That's what I need. I need daily, it's my daily life that I need to constantly pick myself up. At least for now, I need to be that hardcore about it, because it's new for me, and I want to make it natural. Like I was talking about yesterday, I just want to make this version natural. And if you gotta fake it till you make it in the beginning, that's totally fine. If you gotta fake it forever, that's totally fine. But the point is, you're trying and you're doing it. This is just the beginning. I know, I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with this. Just upload every day to keep myself in check. It's working for me. See, the thing is, I've tried a lot of things in my life, and, always had the same results. Sometimes I'd be on, sometimes off, never stayed where I wanted to be. So I know that I need to do something different. So that's why I'm trying new things. And the affirmation thing really clicked in my head, because I realized I was, conditioned and programmed with negativity, with a negative mindset, not consciously. That's just what happened when I was growing up in life. But now that I'm aware of that and conscious, I know what needs to change. My mindset, my thoughts about life, the way I view things. No longer is it, I gotta go to work. It's, wow, I'm healthy enough to have another day of work. Yes, yet another day of work. And that's a wonderful thing. Same life, same situation, only a different mindset. And it, that's the big change. And that's what, that's what makes you a happy or an unhappy person. What you tell yourself about your life. Seriously. Because the thing is, I had a great life all along. It's just I wasn't telling myself that. I was telling myself, oh, this sucks, that sucks, I wish this was different. But I don't do that anymore. Not anymore. It's crazy. When I catch myself starting that spiral, I try to have the affirmations pop up. Something that'll uplift me, switch my thoughts around. And it's been working greatly. Has it been a miracle cure and everything's always fine? No, of course not. But there is measurable improvement, which is amazing. It's amazing, because any improvement is amazing. But the fact that you could see it right off the bat, just start forming, and your mind changing and thinking differently right off the bat, it's incredible. It's incredible to me. My one fear, that when I do think this, I tell myself no, but I'll share it with you. Something that does pop up in my head is that maybe this is new, and that's why it's having such an effect, and eventually if I do it, it won't have the effect anymore and it won't work. I don't believe that, though. That is something that pops up into my head, and when it does, I'm like, no, of course it's gonna work. It's working out for you. This is your thing now. Like, not only is it gonna work, it's like your thing. It's like becoming my freaking thing. I'm into it. So, that's what happens now. When doubt or any of these low vibrational thoughts come in, I recognize it, and yes, they're gonna come in. It freaking happens. I've thought negatively for like 43 years. That's how old I am. So 30 something years I've been thinking negative. So that's why affirmations every morning. Positive stuff. Tell myself who I want to be, what I want to be. I am confident. I don't say I'm trying to be. I'm saying I am. Whatever I want to be. I am a happy, healthy, loving person that has great connections with everyone. I always knew I was meant for greatness. This is what I tell myself over and over every morning, and until I feel it, and it's true. It's true. It's all becoming very real. And I actually want to do more like fantasizing or meditating or whatever about who I really want to become. Like, really, really lock it down, how I want to talk and carry myself and everything. And I'm so happy with where I'm at right now. But I think I need another, vision. Where can I take this? Where am I going? What am I doing? Because right now in life, I have a job that I'm very thankful for, but it's not something I want to do forever, It's just not. Like if I did have to do it forever, I'd be thankful for it. But, I'm a single guy. I have options. I'd like to move. But anyways, yeah, being yourself. Me being me is my whole purpose of everything, and encouraging others to really be them. And that can mean anything for anyone. For me, it means being unique. I love being unique. For you, maybe it doesn't mean that. Maybe it can mean anything. Even if you're a carbon copy type, whatever. This is individual. For me, being my true self means not caring about stereotypes, not trying to be manly just because that's what, we're taught to be. Men are taught to be a certain way oftentimes. And if you're not that way, you could look at it as what's up with you? People start thinking, are you homosexual? People start thinking this stuff. Which is, it's kind of crazy because anyone could be any way they want. It's just, we're brainwashed early on, this world, watch a Disney cartoon and, look at those princes and princesses, and that's the ideas that are getting into, the minds of the youth. So it's no wonder we're programmed to, think men should be this way, women should be that way and stuff like that. But come on, in this day and age, if you're not hurting anyone, you could do anything you want. If you're not hurting others or yourself, do whatever you want. That's what's up. Look however you want, act however you want, But the main thing is there's something in us that connects with love. We're made of love, straight up. I believe that, We're these little love orbs that come into an animal human body, We're part human, part spirit. And, our true nature, when you really connect with it, you realize we're loving beings. Everyone. That's just literally what we are. And this world has a way of making us, it dilutes us. It dilutes our love. It just happens. And I think maybe that's one of the things to figure out how to undilute yourself. Maybe that's the whole purpose of existing, recognizing it and then undoing all the damage that life dumps on you. I don't know. But anyway, that's what I'm going through, Life dumped a lot on me. It happens. And now I'm undoing it. And, for the rest of my days, I vow to keep myself in check by posting every single day. This is day 9 out of however many days I live, and yeah, I'm doing this. I'm making the change. I'm so determined. It's a beautiful life now, and I've never ever really thought that. I've always thought of life as, torture, just to exist is just pure, suffering and torture. And there might be a little truth to that, but I'm looking on the bright side of things because we have a choice. And I'm a more loving person. I vibrate higher when I think positively, still realistically, but a positive, narration of, life. Oh, it's another day. That's awesome. I get to learn instead of, oh God, another day. No, it's the same thing, but a different mindset. My new mindset. This is the new me, everyone. I'm trying like heck. Every day is a new day, a new chance. It's a moment by moment thing. I don't care what a year from now is going to look like. I do, but I'm really just trying to be present and concentrate on right now and take it day by day, one day at a time. And by the way, I just celebrated yesterday. I forgot, but it was 7 years no drinking. Haven't had alcohol in 7 years. Freaking amazing. Not one sip. So, I mean, my life's a miracle. Like, no joke. If you knew what I've been through and where I'm at right now, my life's an absolute miracle. Yours could be too. I don't know where you're at or what you're going through, but like, change is possible. You know, if you're alive, change is possible. That's all I gotta say. All right, love you guys.